Good evening. We are at Bethel High School at the newly named Allen Iverson Gymnasium to watch a highly touted rivalry, Hampton Crabbers versus Bethel Bruins. With the revived Peninsula District basketball this season, you got to wonder who's going to come out this matchup with the Bethel Bruins having hold the third rank in the Peninsula District right now, coming over a huge win last week against Kickinton, a double overtime win. And the Hampton Crabbers coming in here trying to upset the Bruins with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder with this rivalry not being selected as the favorite. They come in this game with two 15-point scorers and two seniors that plan to come away with the last rivalry game of the season between Bethel with the victory. As you see on the other hand, Bethel Bruins, number 23, Marcus Banks, the senior transfer, as well as the senior Trey Jackson, senior Deshaun Battle, are the elder guys on the Bruins side of the ball who want to go away with this championship, this rivalry championship, if you would call it. As you see, many of these players here are young for the Bethel Bruins here. You have some youth, as Coach Breon harped on, just building the youth up, and they've been building from guys that have been playing JV and trying to bounce back from a couple seasons ago where they had a bit of a low season, an unusual season for the Bethel Bruins. And for the Hampton Crabbers, they've got an extremely quick front court, as well as a pretty strong backcourt, as they've been known for fighting and keeping it close with many PD teams and putting up a fight, as you've got Kickinton, Menchville, Bethel, and Hampton now amongst the top 5 teams of who to know when it comes to 757 basketball. We also have Maury and a couple across the water teams making their name known. But as far as the Bruins are concerned, they're worried about today and tonight and winning tonight and moving on to go and make a fight in the state playoffs. And players to watch here for the Bethel Bruins, number 1, Obi Okafor, 6'8", 190, big. It's not the Dejour Dickens the Bethel Bruins had a few years ago, but he's definitely a great front court piece. You see the transfer down in the post. Strong take over the right shoulder, miss. Tip in missed as well by Okafor. As Banks comes on defense over to number 14 for the Crabbers, Thomas Reed, a sophomore, now holds the ball over to number 20, Eson Duncan, who's also a sophomore. As you look at the youth of this Crabber team, a steal by number 20, Eson Duncan. It's called out of bounds. You hear the crowd not liking that call. So maybe they thought he might have been in bounds. And by number 2, Josh Askew, class of 2022. You see Banks up top with the ball. Number 24 usually wears number 23, but today he's sporting a 24 for Kobe. As you can see, 42 with the strong take. Return to sender, huge block by Okafor there. As he's going to make number 42 for the Crabbers. Dante Howell, a sophomore, he's going to make him think twice about coming into that paint. See a turnover there by the Crabbers. Number 4, Cole Swain. Inbound to number 12. Aaron Campbell. Aaron Campbell with the great dime to find to number 22, Farrell Lassiter, 6'1" junior. You see a crossover there. Dish to the corner. Tray ball no good by Howell as the quick crossover by number 20, Hassan Duncan. Banks brings the ball up. Swings to Campbell. Campbell passes it to the baseline. That'll be a missed mid-range by Lassiter. Over to 4. Cole Swain. Swain passes it back up top to Duncan. Duncan calls out a play. Swings it to Swain. Dribble drive. Shut down by Banks there. Good defense by the Bruins. As the Crabbers can't seem to find a hole. Swings over to Reed. Reed loses the ball. Duncan. As you see the Bruins clapping it up with great defense here. The Crabbers trying to space the floor out here. You're getting a call from the head coach. Two passes, number 4. Swain with the lay. With the assist from Hedgepeth. Hedgepeth, sorry. Excuse me. See Campbell here with the step back. Three-pointer miss, and that'll be an offensive foul on number 2, Hedgepeth. My mistake, on number 12 for the Bruins is Aaron Chappell. Aaron Chappell. Excuse me. Chappell brings the ball up. Swings it over to number 2 for Bethel. Askew. Askew looking at what he sees. Drives right, dishes back to Chappell. Chappell mid-range missed. Tipped by Banks. As you see, Banks picks up a half-court Duncan. Swings over to 42. That'll be Howell. Rebound Howell. Misses the lay. Chappell. You see Coach Breon with his touted on-the-court coaching style. Walking halfway through the court to call his play out, slow Banks down, make sure he gets a good offensive possession here. A little bit of jungle ball for both teams early on in the first quarter. See an offensive foul called there on Banks as he makes the Crabber touch the floor in the post spin. Oh, you good. You see number 4, Cole Swain, bringing the ball up, sophomore. Screen by Martin. And you see Swain calling out a play up top, swings it over to Duncan. Back up to Swain. Over to Reed in the corner. Post spin. Strong move by Martin, who's a senior, trying to come away with his senior year with a win in the Bruin Den, Allen Iverson Gymnasium. A strong spin move. See Banks with the move, floater with right hand, no good. Rebound 22, Lassiter. As you see the 6'1" forward able to get that rebound. Rebound Okafor over to Banks. Banks passes it back to Lassiter. Lassiter for 3. Rebound Chappell. Now to be dribbled off of his legs. It'll be Hampton ball. See the Crabbers running a bit of a patient offense here, getting the motion going, trying to get their shooters open. See 10 there. Jalen Jenkins, a freshman, Jalen Jenkins with the ball, calling out the offense. Tells Corey Devon to cut through. You see Devon coming out the other side with the ball now. Over to the senior, Martin. Martin with the rebound. Off of the Devon miss. We got another missed layup. See Banks slowing down the tempo of the game right now. Over to Okafor. Okafor to Chapel. Inbound to Aaron Chapel. He knocks it down. You see the freshman swings it over to the senior in the corner. Martin back to the freshman, wide open for the three. Knocked down. Jalen Jenkins with the three. See Banks coming up the court, calling the play out. Swings it over down low to Aaron. That's Aaron Chappelle with another mid-range floater. As he's providing a lot of offense here for the Bruins early on. Jenkins over to Swain. Swain thinks about it. Over to Howington. Howington back to Jenkins, back to the senior. Martin, who goes to the backcourt to get the ball back. You see an 8-7 game with the clock ticking down here. Crabbers looking for a play. Over here to Swain in the corner, back up to Jenkins. See wide open. Swain, floater's good, but it doesn't count. You see this first quarter, a slow first quarter here for the Bruins and the Crabbers, as you can see a low-scoring first quarter as it almost matched the score of the girls' game. See a little bit of the jitters getting out, a little bit of a sloppy basketball game going on, but I'm sure both of the coaches here are trying to get everything going on. And now you can start to hear the crowd getting intact with the Crabber cheerleaders on the court. You can hear the crowd and this Bruin den here starting to let themselves be heard. Bit of a six-man as the audience is raining down jeers. As you can tell, this rivalry means a lot, just more to students. More than just students, it means a lot to the community, the rivalry, all the people that used to play for Bethel. You got alumni in here. You have old teachers, past principals, past coaches. Just a general community family feel with the Bruin Pod-esque going through, raining down the jeers and making the Crabbers feel that rivalry feeling with this rivalry game here in the Bruin Den as they will inbound the ball, start the second quarter. Duncan over to Reed. As Duncan has the ball back up top. Swings the ball over. You got Swan making a decision up top. Excuse me, Reed. Back over to Duncan, back to Reed, who gets fouled on the drive, a mid-range jump shot. They're going to call that one on the floor. That'll be foul on number 2. Hedgepeth, the junior. As we now welcome in my good partner, Ube. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. I know you held down the fort, my man. Good job on the girls' game.
Absolutely. As now we got the yin and yang tandem going on here with this rivalry match. How do you feel? What are your thoughts coming into the game here as we enter the Bruin Den? We got a tight game here.
Low-scoring game as expected. As Bethel only scores, Bethel and Hampton combined 15 points going into this second quarter here.
And you can see just a bit of sloppiness on both sides of the ball here. I don't know if it's jitters or that rivalry not taking effect yet. But with the crowd offering their fair share of boos and jeers there at the end of the first quarter, you got to wonder if the players feel it. As Banks takes a fadeaway, air balls and rebound by 20. That'll be William Jackson, a 6'4" big man senior, holding down the fort, 230.
And I know you talked about what Banks brings. Good addition for the Bruins coming in from Walsingham Academy in Williamsburg.
Absolutely, a great transfer here.
Great big guard, does a lot of things. He's actually playing out of position this year. He's more of a two guard, but he's playing like a combo guard for the Bruins tonight.
Absolutely, a bit of a wing since he's running with. And you can tell Coach Breon has definitely been in his ear this year. You can see he's having a lot of poise early in the game when having a little bit of that Justin Ned-esque about him controlling the game.
I like that comparison.
Absolutely. He reminds me a lot of Justin Ned when he passes the ball. He controls the game. He listens to Coach Breon.
Very underrated. I always talk to Coach Breon, one of my most underrated players to come out of Bethel, Justin Ned.
Absolutely. Went on to play at apprentice school for a little bit. As Reed knocks down the tray ball.
You know, and Coach Scott, it's another turnover by the Bruins.
That's over the floor. Taken up strong on the rebound by Hedgebeth.
And, you know, Coach, look at that pressure right there. As you know, Coach for Hampton has really wanted Reed to shoot more, a definite shooter. And there's our senior, Chappelle, one of the utility guys for the Bruins, and Coach Breon.
Absolutely. And Aaron Chappelle is having an outstanding game so far. I think about 6 points here for the Bruins, as he's been tentative inside that interior.
And again, expected rivalry game. You thought the records out of the window here, and it's that's why it's 12-12. Pretty good game here at the Den, as they call it, Allen Iverson Gymnasium here on Big Bethel Road.
Banks for three. He'll knock it down. Confident with the shot. As you can see.
And again, that's what he does. He's more of a shooter. Hasn't shot the ball that well this year because of his point guard responsibilities, but he can shoot the lights out as you see the replay here.
And you see he looks down to almost acknowledge how much space he has before he knocks down the cold-blooded three-pointer.
Didn't have to create that much space, just pulled the
We're here with
trigger.
a packed house tonight, as you can see inside the huddle.
And you know, it's good to see, Kyler. Packed house, rivalry game, PD at its best. And
Absolutely.
You see Coach
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, you got
football coach.
Like I was saying earlier, that's exactly what I was saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Ube.
Oh.
But that's exactly what I was getting on earlier. You got a lot of coaches in here, a lot of Bethel alumni. You got old players. You know, you've got so much tradition and Bruin pride installed. Just you can feel the rivalry energy in the air. As you can see, if both teams were undefeated or both teams didn't win a single game this season, this game is going to be one of those ones that they want to bring home regardless of the record overall.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As you can see, Duncan here with the ball, screened by Martin, finds Reed in the corner. Excuse me, not Reed. Finds Swain in the corner, hits off the back iron.
And again, Hampton's going to have that shot most of the night with the penetration and dish.
Mid-range knocked down. Chappelle with 8 points here in the first half.
Yeah, I like Chappelle's game. Just smooth utility guy. Doesn't do anything great. Just does a lot of things good for the Bruins.
See, good ball movement here by the Hampton Crabbers. Strong take by Duncan, who gets a friendly roll.
Like the left hand, too, that time. Kyler off of the little absorb the contact.
Absolutely.
And got the two for the Crabbers.
Solid. Chappelle finding Martin. And that's his second three.
Another one of those transfers, Kyler, comes over from Peninsula Catholic. That's Lassiter with an open three.
That's his second three for the night as well. And you can see he's starting to get into it.
It only takes one shot and you start feeling it.
Absolutely. You got him and Banks back-to-back three-pointers here. Dribble pull-up for Banks.
Again, leaving him open is not a good idea, as he just sized that shot up, Kyler, and nailed it for the Bruins.
Man down. As you see, like I brought it up earlier, Marcus Banks changed his number from 23 to 24 in respect for Kobe Bryant.
Absolutely, one of his favorite players.
It's a good spin move by Duncan there. He's not staying quiet. Crab is running a bit of a press here. Gets it over to Banks. Banks, no-look pass down low. Layup missed by the big fella. Rebound Hedgepeth. Strong take to the free throw for two. Field goal, no good.
And that time Jackson probably was looking for the foul and took his eyes off of the basket. Easy layup for him, just could not put it in because he was looking for the foul. As a big man, you go up strong with it and you worry about the foul later.
Absolutely. And you see Coach Breon with his well-known for coaching style, halfway on the court a little bit there, letting his.
He needs to put a jersey on if he gets any closer to the players. But that's Coach Breon. I talked to him earlier today, and he's optimistic, but, you know, he's a little passive to give his team an A grade so far. I told him they were playing well, and he said they're still continuing to get better and work as a team. As again, they have a lot of newcomers on this squad to the varsity level.
Hedgepeth knocks both free throws down. And it's over to Banks. One-on-one with Banks and Duncan, the two best players on each team. Pump fake. You can tell Banks was looking for that cut early on. That give and go. Lassiter with the follow through after Banks gets.
And that's Lassiter
hit
again.
In the eye, it seems like.
That athletic ability, Carter, getting that two off the glass. Oh, tough shot.
That's a great shot there by Reed.
Yeah, he's
good defense, better shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reverse layup sent back by Dejora Martin.
Time they showed the ball too long. Defender with easy block. Coming down on it.
Over to Chappelle. Up top to Lassiter. Mid-range, good.
Oh, he's feeling it. He's feeling it. Good stop and pop. That time, Kyler, again, you're looking for that three-point shot. He's hit a couple already, and it's easy to go in the hole when you're hot from three-point land. That time he stopped and popped and hit a good pull-up jumper for the Bruins.
And that's something he's known for, is just his inside-out game. Not only his physicality, his athleticism, and his defensive attributes, he also has a great way of staying hot. He's a microwave in a sense. So once he hits one, it's kind of hard to get him to make less of him.
Good pointing.
And a good layup there by Martin. Stolen and dropped by Reed. Back to Banks for the Bethel Bruins. Slows things down. As it's stolen by Reed. Fast break. Now to be a foul call. But in the Bruins den, that'll be considered a block. As you can see, the student section, as well as the crowd, gets super anxious, super loud here in the Bruins den for a great athletic play by Chappelle, which arguably could have been a block or a foul.
They're going to probably get him because he came down with it. As you see the steal by Duncan.
And you can see Reed thinking about him the entire time down there. He was worried about the foul and getting hit more than he was about the layup.
Yeah, and that's gonna happen when you don't focus on the basket, and that could have gone either way, like you said.
I know Chappelle had hops like that. You see how high he got up on that one?
Yeah, he did.
Almost hit his head on the backboard.
Again, good utility player for the Bruins. Coach Breon likes to use him in different spots. He can post you up. He can hit you a couple of mid-range, but he's inside-outside for the Bruins.
As the energy intensifies in here and it gets even louder, as the Bruins family and friends are making the pressure felt here for the Crabbers.
You see, the Crabbers have what's kept them in this game what's kept them in this game is the turnovers, going through that full court press.
And if you're the Bruins, you think you should be up a little bit more here going into halftime. You got 50 seconds left in this game. I mean, in the half. Chappelle looking for a shot. Over to Banks, over to two, back to Lassiter, down to Banks again with the strong turn over the left shoulder. Just a little too much off the back iron. You got the freshman with the pull-up. Freshman Jenkins, a little bit too much off the back iron. Rebound Okafor. Strong demand and rebound there.
That was good defense on both sides that time. Good defense on Banks on the other side, and good contest on the Bethel side on the Hampton offensive possession.
I just got now Amari Howington guarding Banks if they continue to switch people on him. Bit of a matchup problem. See Lassiter flashing down the middle, wanted the ball. Josh Askew, bit of a wild shot behind the backboard. Rebound Okafor off before the buzzer, no good. But they called a foul. We'll be shooting two before the half.
Okafor that time using his 6'7" frame and getting that rebound. And they're going to call a foul. Going to shoot two here.
Obi Okafor, the 6'8", 190 junior. Sophomore, actually. Sophomore.
Only a sophomore.
Got room to grow as he knocks down the first free throw.
And that's good when your big man has a stroke like that at the free throw line.
You see the flick of the wrist there. He misses his second free throw. Yes. That gives the Bruins a 3-point lead heading into halftime over the Hampton Crabbers as they now change it to 4. Apologies, a 4-point lead over the Hampton Crabbers heading into this one in a tight matchup for rivalry in Big Bethel Road. The Bruins Den, Allen Iverson Gymnasium. We'll be right back in the second half.
Welcome back to Bethel High School, Allen Iverson Gym, for this Hampton City rivalry between the Hampton Crabbers and the Bethel Bruins, where Bethel leads Hampton 28-23. Kyler, 5-point lead for the Bruins. What did you see out of the Bruins and the Crabbers in the first half?
Definitely. I saw the Bethel Bruins come out with an exuberant energy to start the game off, and they had Marcus Banks hit a couple big threes, and Lassiter come out hit a couple big threes. However, I do think that the Bruins are turning the ball over a little bit too much. I'm sure Coach Breon is not okay with how many times they're turning the ball over, because this is a team that they feel is a little subpar, and that they should be able to handle this team with easy work, and it should be way more lead than 5 points. But if you're looking at Hampton's side, you're at a decent point. You're at a decent point in this game, down 5 points going into the second half. You just got to keep your composure and wait for your opportunity to strike if you're the Crabbers.
And if you're Hampton, this is a game that you should win, but, turnovers. That four-court press caused some problems for the Bruins, and, they just got to keep doing what they're doing. You have Lassiter and Banks hitting shots from outside, and, Hampton just playing scrappy, just trying to hang in there as they're down by 5 here in the Allen Iverson Gymnasium.
The Bruins inbound the ball here to start the second half. You got Josh Askew. Marcus Burns bringing the ball up, showing the patience and composure he's had all game. Chappelle in the post at the top of the key. Drives left, almost stolen by senior Martin.
Yeah, again, that's turnovers. Bethel has to be more precise on their offensive sets to put this lead a little further than the 5-point lead they have now. And again, that's what I just talked about. A turnover on an inbound play. The 5-second call was called on the
had Okafor down low with a mismatch. Was waiting on him to dump it down. It seems like they had a little bit of a miscommunication. One thing Coach Breon doesn't like is turnovers, especially against a team he feels that doesn't quite match up to the Bruin stamina and or talent. Feels that the Bruins should run most teams out the gym.
And again, only one loss here at home, and that was against Benchfield, a game that a lot of people feel they should have won that one as well.
Just, yeah, down the stretch, they didn't execute their game plan offensively down the stretch in that game against Benchfield, and it kind of cost. And you wonder if that's going to come back and be their Achilles heel in this game of underdog versus giant here.
And again, you know how that works when you let an underdog stick around.
Chappelle with the rebound.
Happen, And Chappelle with the rebound. Again, that utility guy for the Bruins. Over to Banks. Banks calling out the play around midcourt for the Bruins. Duncan with a little poke, knocks it in the backcourt. Playing Banks pretty well.
And the refs are letting them play here. A little bit of bumping on both sides of the ball, offense and defense there.
Duncan almost matches up with him size. Banks a little taller. But, Duncan's going to put pressure on Banks and try to make somebody else beat the Crabbers. Duncan again guarding Banks. Goes it inside. Poked away that time.
Okafor didn't quite seal off Martin. As Martin hits another spin, doesn't quite know where he is at the end of it. Saves the ball. Back up top. You see the coach for the Hampton Crabbers has removed the tie here. So he is officially in rivalry mode.
Good pass that time by Duncan into Martin. That time he didn't have to spin. It was an easy layup for him. And that cuts the Bethel lead to 3. Again, Duncan putting a lot of pressure on Banks. Goes over half court. Calling out a set. Goes back to his right. Crosses over to his left. Goes in. And they're going to call a foul on Duncan.
It's a strong take there by Banks. You see he's just a brute on offense. Pure strength. As he backs down Duncan, who is not a small guy his own self, with his own ability to hold down the lower block in the post.
Only Duncan's first foul. So Banks is going to be pressured a lot in this second half as the Bruin lead back to 4. That time Banks misses the free throw. Hedge pass over to Duncan. Looks inside as that time Martin loses it. He was open under the basket again. Coach Eric Brown not happy with that. Again, like you said, no tie, towel in his pocket, sweating.
It's not a Bethel rivalry without Coach Breon halfway on the court. And
Coach Breon still has his tie and his jacket on, so Okafor around the key, gets it over to Chappelle. Chappelle double team. Okafor almost over the back. He gets pushed around, slap. They're going to call
it's like a travel
on Okafor.
As he tries to go up strong there with the rebound.
At that time, that layup has to be made by Askew. He's free drive to the lane. He just mistimed it.
6'4" guard with a nice wingspan right next to the rim. You got a finish shot. You have Hedgepath with the ball, coordinating the offense. Back up top to Martin.
Over to Reed, the sophomore. Gets a screen by Hedgepath. He's going to take a long 3. He nails it. And Reed can shoot.
And here's that from almost a volleyball 10-foot line. As you can see him start to talk to Lassiter here, get in the ear of Lassiter.
And a steal that time by Reed. Reed goes in for the layup, and he misses it. Chappelle comes down with the layup, and Reed's still down. Chappelle with a spin move, good spin move. He misses the layup himself. Just easy shots. Not going down for both teams. The top of the glass, hedge pass, gets the rebound, gets the layup, he's fouled.
It's a wild series of plays there. As you can see, the Crabbers, a little bit of energy here.
That was a deep three, like you said.
And he pulled that from the volleyball 10-foot line. It's about a 27-footer on the NBA court. You can see Reed.
That was good. Tied up here, 29. You see the three-pointer. Look how far he was. And Banks just gave him the room. That time it was a switch, and Lassiter just not there in time, and Reed knocks down the three.
And Reed has that confidence as a shooter to knock down those three-pointers if not challenged.
So Hampton now has a 1-point lead. 4:04 left in the third quarter.
As they sub in now, number 0, Irons, who's a junior, and number 34, Holloway, who's a sophomore. So you got just about 10 bodies have been in here for the Hampton Crabbers, fresh legs in and out. As the Bruins stick with just about the same eight fellas in the lineup. As you can see, the players now going back and forth with each other. You see Duncan in the ear of Banks. This is the type of rivalry we're accustomed to here.
Kind of Okafor gets it, looking for somewhere to go. Goes over to Chappelle. Chappelle, the smaller defender on him, goes back into Banks in the post. He's posting up Duncan. That time Chappelle goes in, and he's fouled, almost gets it, but it doesn't go down.
As he goes up strong, almost as if he was going to dunk that one.
It looked like it. Again, good defense by Duncan, putting pressure on Banks, forcing another Bruin to step up, and that's a rare miss by Chappelle on the free throw line.
You got Coach Huckabee over there on the sideline for the Bruins. Well-known Peninsula District coach on the coaching staff for the Bethel Bruins now.
Had a great career at Woodside, coaching them to a couple deep playoff runs. So it's tied up here, 30-30. Duncan bringing the ball up for the Crabbers. Goes over half court, looks over at the Bethel defense. Goes over to Cole Swan. Swan guarded by Banks. Banks putting a lot of pressure on Swan. Goes left.
Bit of a 2-3 zone here for the Bruins.
They're saying that Cole Swan was in the act of shooting. He's going to get 2 free throws. Going to tie a game here, 30-30.
Got to be Cole Swain at the free throw line.
First free throw was good. (31-30) Hampton, 3:14 left in this third quarter. Second free throw is out.
In and out.
And
that'd be rebounded by Banks, the strong board.
Strong board by Banks, right. Again, Duncan's going to be on him all night. The key for Hampton is to not let Duncan get in foul trouble.
Not even foul trouble, but as a defender guarding the best player on the other team, you get a little tired sometimes. As
Another turnover by the Bruins. Coach Breon, longtime coach here at Bethel. On the court, down 1 here against the Crabbers.
So Swan here with the ball up top to Reed. Thinks about it. Drives left, double clutch midair.
And they're going to call over the back on Holloway, the sophomore in the Crabbers. And again, good boxing out for the Bruins that time. Again, Banks, good position.
Bruins down 1 in this rivalry game. And just like we saw with the girls game, with just a little bit of reverse roles here, the Hampton Crabbers are staying in it for the boys varsity. Trying to show some fight.
Took the Banks off the ball now, Kyle. Now they have Lassiter bringing the ball up, guarded by Reed.
You gotta wonder, that's the type of versatility you have when you have two great ball handlers in Lassiter and Banks. But Banks is also looking a little winded, and I think that's what Coach Brown switched him off the ball for, because he was fighting a little too hard with Duncan here.
That time they're going to call Jackson for a moving screen. That's his 3rd foul for the Bruins.
And you got to wonder if Duncan coming out the game here is going to throw off the Hampton Crabbers mojo right now. They're going on a 5-0 run here.
Crabbers working around. Hedge pass at the top. Calls for a screen from
Jenkins is
from Irons.
Shooter over there in the corner pocket there.
Long shot, long 2 from Hedgepath. Rebound by Banks. Banks pushes. Surrounded by Crabbers. He turns it over.
Stolen. Back to Hedgepath, who drives strong.
An offensive foul. That's the utility guy I was talking about, Chappelle.
As he throws his body in there, very Marcus Smart-esque. And gets the offensive foul there.
And Coach Brion's going to call a timeout as try to recharge the batteries here. The Bruins try to get some offense going as they haven't had much success in this 3rd quarter.
That's one thing Coach Brown is known for, is keeping a solid 8-man rotation, 9-man rotation. He doesn't like to throw off the floor of the game with too many different bodies. He sticks to his game plan. Whatever he says and sets up prior practices, that's what he's going to stick with. And he's been known to do that with wings, bigs, guards, all types of different talent he's had over the years.
Yeah, he's had some good wings. If the Baycoat brothers and go down the line.
Definitely, and you got to look at Coach Breon and wonder when is going to be the time for him to, not call it quits, but just take a step back and kind of enjoy the fruits of his life.
He did.
He's almost at 400 wins here, 363 at the beginning of this season. So he's almost at 400 wins, and he's coached at 3 or 4 separate schools over the 757. He started his JV at his alma mater as the head JV coach at Lake Taylor, and then went on stints at Granby, Booker T, Washington, and Moore High School until he found his home here in Bethel High School, 1994. And that's where he's been ever since. 26-year career here. He also is the Dean of Boys.
And like we talked about, the program has sent over 40 players to Division I, II, III, and junior college player level. That'll be a foul on Hampton.
Yeah, blocking foul, number 30 there for the Crabbers. Mari Howington, he's a junior.
Again, low-scoring affair here. Anytime you have a rivalry game, that's what's going to be the case. As Duncan takes a seat. And let's see if the Bruins take advantage of this.
And a lot of things people have said going into this game about the Bruins' 2 transfers. As Lassiter hits the 3.
Right on cue, Kyler. A 3 from Lassiter, 33-31, and he had a defender in his lap. Still nails it.
And Lassiter is having a game tonight. I think he's missed 1 shot.
Jalen Jenkins, the freshman, playing point guard. He's going to shoot it. No good. Rebound Okafor.
The solid jump shot release.
You see, Crabbers have a lot of jump shooters that they can put out here. And again, taking Duncan out, you see if that backfires if you're the Crabbers. Not having their leader in the game right now.
Lassiter, another 3. Off the back iron, looked like it was on line.
They're going to call Okafor over the back. his second foul.
A lot of things people have been wondering leading up to this season for the Bruins was whether the two transfers will have the grit to be able to play in these kind of games. This rivalry game, this Peninsula District matchup, some of the things have playoff implications, and some of these things turn out to be close games with the crowd turning up and getting loud, just like playoff atmosphere. So you got to watch the transfer students to see how they react to this game, going over a double overtime win last week in Kickinton, where they performed well in overtime.
Good point. As Hedgepath goes in, he kicks it out to Swan for three. Off the mark. Nobody there for the rebound. But he's not going to get the ball off, and it's going to be after the buzzer. The Bruins take a 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter.
We are headed into the quarter which separates men versus boys.
That's right.
And as now you're going to hear the well-touted, well-awaited, highly anticipated Bethel Bruins cheerleading team here. As I said earlier, the cheerleaders are just as much a part of this rivalry as anything else involved in sports with the Bruins versus Crabbers.
Get a chance to see Coach Eric Brown in his huddle. It's more than just a basketball game going on. The cheerleaders as well. They practice like everybody else as they prepare for the games.
Last rivalry game of the season for these two teams. Last time meeting each other.
1-point win by the Bruins the last game at Hampton early on.
These are bragging rights on the line here. Hampton trying to get the season sweep. And the Bruins trying to prove that the first game might have been just a fluke.
Yeah. So Jenkins to inbound, looking for someone, and he's going to be a 5-second call, just like the Bruins had in the third quarter. Good defense that time by the Bruins. So Banks, again, Duncan, good defense. He moves his feet over to Chappelle. Chappelle with the freshman on him. Lassiter over to Banks. Banks shoots a three. Good.
And that could have been called a foul as he was hit on the release. Doesn't matter. As
three-pointer is
trying to reciprocate the three here for the Crabbers. No good. That was Swain in the corner.
And Coach Breon's going to call a timeout as you see the ability by those transfers, Kyler. Good ball movement. And here you see Chappelle, the senior, over to Lassiter. The kick to Banks. Banks, all net. So, Coach Breon calls a timeout. This might just be an adjustment just to make some calls for a couple possessions here, as he might be calling an offense and a defensive call going into these next couple possessions.
Coach Breon and Coach Huckabee, two spearheaded coaches. I would hate to be in that huddle getting yelled at right now by those two guys. As you can see, they both looked a little bit aggravated in that huddle, calling a frustration timeout. It seems like got Coach Huckabee and Coach Breon bullets on the forehead almost.
And this is a key point in the game. Bethel up 5.
I don't believe the ball. Banks has checked out the game. I do not believe he has. So he's playing the long run, Marcus Banks here. As he kicks over to the utility man. Post spin, float, no good.
And Chappelle has gotten to the goal with ease. Just not able to finish on those those spin moves in the paint. He just needs to take his time. A little more elevation. Like you said, he could probably dunk one. Duncan over the timeline. Calling out the play. Like the Bethel's in some kind of a matchup zone. Almost a double dribble that time by Swan. Over to Duncan. Guarded by Banks. Duncan kicks it over to Swan. Swan looks at the three. Tries to take Lassiter to the goal. Good defense by him.
You can see Lassiter doing a lot of talking on the court.
You can tell the Crabbers are looking for that three ball. Swan is going to take the three. little knuckleball in and out. Rebound by Okafor. And those shots look on point when they leave the hand, just in and out for the Crabbers that time on the three-point shot. Banks, this time they're going to call Duncan for the reach-in. Again, if you're the Crabbers, got to be careful. If you get Duncan in foul trouble, he's their best defender. And he's guarding the best player on the floor for Bethel as well. Only 2 fouls for him, though.
Definitely. And that's one thing that we brought up is not only his foul trouble, but also his stamina. As you can see, dripping sweat right now.
Good point.
He has a heavy matchup guarding the strongest man on the court as they get a switch here. Gets tossed around a little bit in the blender by Chappelle. Strong take by Lassiter. He gets blocked by Martin. Ahead up to Reed. Reed for 3. Corner pocket, no good. Gets his own rebound, drives baseline. Double clutch. That'll be a solid rebound for Okafor.
Oh, good take by Chappelle. As you see,
things getting a little chippy here as you watch this replay all the way to the end.
Steps over him after.
Tries to do a little Allen Iverson move, and Allen Iverson's own gentleman. The Bruins were not letting that happen. As you see Coach Breon in the paint now. Trying to hold his team accountable and keep everything composed.
And trying to get in these players' heads. As Chappelle's a senior. He's been around this program 4 or 5 years. The utility guy, first free throw is no good. The referee's doing a pretty good job of keeping keeping everybody cool.
That was
not giving an early tech, which was surprising.
Exactly. That was very quickly diffused, too. That was a good job by the Bethel Bruin administration staff as well as the coach just to diffuse that situation before it got escalated. Rebound by Banks. Easy lay-in.
Easy lay-in for Banks. As Chappelle uncharacteristically missing 2 free throws. That puts the Bethel lead up to 7, and Hampton calls timeout. So as you see Banks getting in on that missed free throw by Chappelle, gets the 2. Bethel with a 7-point lead, but you have to be aware of where the Hampton shooters are. As they've been shooting a lot of threes tonight, and they're getting some open looks. You see Chappelle's missed free throw.
Offensive rebound.
Picked up by Banks off the glass. Easy 2 for him.
He was getting boxed out there. Just moved around that one.
Packed house, old school Bethel jersey.
Absolutely. I think that's Lassiter's mom.
Might be his mom, but I'm going to talk to Lee Martin
super
how do I get a throwback Bethel jersey. I like those yellow jerseys.
Exactly. If you're putting in requests, I need these shorts right here.
Yeah, for sure.
I need these shorts from this game with the Bruin logo on the front. And like I said earlier, Allen Iverson has had his fair share of donations to this school, but it never ceases to surprise you with what new they have.
Edge pass goes baseline, cut off by Chappelle. 3-point shot is no good. Rebound Banks is cleaning up the glass on both ends for the Bruins.
As you can hear, the Bruin den starting to turn up here as the volume's getting louder and louder in this 4th quarter as the Bruins try to seal this victory. Banks wide open for 3.
Banks taking over this game.
Guarantee that one's going down.
And now the Bruins lead is 10. 41-31, 5 minutes left in the game. Three-pointer from the Crabbers. Unlikely hero is Halverson hits a 3, and then Hampton calls a timeout. 7-point lead now for the Bruins. 4:50 left in this game.
And another one of these traditions that not a lot of people know about that's come around in the last 10 years is the student section rivalry has been a thing in these games where it's going back and forth. We watched the replay on this three-pointer. As you see, Hampton Crabbers hushed his home crowd here. That three. But the student section for the Bruins simply just pointing out to the scoreboard.
That's all you can
With
do
a 7-point lead, 4 minutes left to go in this fourth quarter.
And, you know, we talked about this. I talked about it in the last couple years. 2 lean years in Bethel standards on the basketball, on the boys' side. And Coach Breon comes back this year, 11-5, some good quality wins, a good win against Kickintan. And this win today would be a huge win for the program as they look closer to that playoff spot, as they haven't been competitive in the last couple of years.
Indubitably. And a lot of people have to ask about Coach Breon. He had a great team in 08, and he had that team for 3 years. And he didn't have a ring to speak for. And he had a great team in 2015. He had a great team in 2016 and 17 with plenty of transfers. Dejour Dickens, Justin Ned. The list goes on of stars he had on these teams, and which is not to blame him for the lack of championships, but some need to wonder. As Okafor goes up strong with the lay, someone to wonder, when is Coach Breon going to solidify his career as a Bruin and bring home a state championship?
And you know, and it goes in cycles. It goes
as
in
Okafor
cycles.
goes on the other side and gets a block.
What are you doing?
As the referee plays his own game of defense there.
Deshaun Collins in no man's land that time, as he had some defenders open, and you know that maybe it could be the nerves of the rivalry a little bit, but almost turning it over as Bethel calls timeout just in time. Again, 43-34 Bethel. 9-point lead, 4:23 left. If you're Bethel, you're just trying to hang on and get this win. Jackson to inbound. Tough to get in. They're going to trap Banks. Banks goes into Jackson. Jackson kicks it over, almost a turnover. A jump ball. It's Chappelle again misses an easy layup.
Strong rebound there by Okafor. Many are wondering why he didn't put that on the back of the defender's
looked like he was going to slam
neck
it.
there.
And that would have brought the house down for sure.
I don't know if Hampton would have been able to bounce back from that one.
4:12 left.
Because everyone knows in high school basketball in the Peninsula District, nothing will get the crowd ramped up more than someone falling or someone getting dunked on.
Oh, dangerous bounce pass. Is it going to call another foul? And that's going to be on, looks like it's going to be on number 40, Martin. And he has 3 fouls. Banks goes to the line for a 1-and-1 for Bethel. Huge free throws here as you can push this lead to double digits. First free throw is no good. Banks gets the rebound, goes up for the layup, and it's good. So they're not making the free throws, Caliber. They're getting the rebounds and putting it in. It's Bethel now up by 11.
It's the hustle points that matter, and you see Banks is filling up the stat sheet on all ends right now.
Hedge pass goes to the goal.
Wow, layup finishes the acrobatic shot on the right side.
Caught Okafor drifting. Of course, Hampton's going to keep pressing the Bruins here. Lassiter calls a clear out.
And I think Lassiter's going to hit a dagger here for the Bruins. As he's shown that killer instinct all night. Anytime he's got the opportunity to score, he takes it. As you can see, he goes in there strong. Gets it sent back this time, though.
Spin move by Duncan. They're going to call a foul on Jackson. Going to call him for pushing. think they're underestimating the ability of Martin, his athletic abilities. He had a couple blocks in this game off of easy looks. Duncan inside. Almost a push off as Banks gets up. And if you're Hampton, you got to score pretty quick. And as soon as I say that, three-pointer air ball from the Crabbers.
And here comes the range from the crowd.
There's a 249 collar. Bethel up by 9. Inbound into Lassiter. Another clear out.
As Lassiter bringing the ball up, I think he wants to call his own number here.
Lassiter over to Banks. Banks, why not? Good.
And Lassiter with the cold-blooded celebration.
Duncan
shooting the three to the Hampton Crabbers student section. That was a turnover by the Hampton Crabbers, a travel by Duncan. You got to wonder, has he been guarding Banks too long this game, as starting to show a little bit of stamina frustration on the offensive end, as well as the lack of attentive detail on defense. Lassiter misses the floater. Strong reach. Bruins up 12 here, 2 minutes left to go.
And that time he had Okafor down low. Maybe a little ball fake to freeze the defender. And a nice little no-look to Okafor probably would have got the exclamation point in this game if he would have had a monstrous dunk to end it. But that time was a bad shot from Lassiter, and he was called for the foul. He has 4 fouls now. That's a huge call. If they can't afford to lose him in this last 2 minutes, he's been the facilitator in this last couple minutes, finding Banks.
8-point game here, actually. I said 12. My apologies. 8-point game here.
Duncan kick out to Hedgepath. Hedgepath's mid-range. No good. Rebound, Lassiter.
As you see Banks demanding for the ball. Late game, no-look pass. And then you got the explanation point on his head. Okafor with the dunk, baseline. The no-look pass to put the statement on this one for the Bruins as they go up. 14 now. Back to Banks, strong drive. Loses the ball on the way up. Hedgepath for 3. He'll miss. Rebound. Chappelle. And my correction, I called the game 8, and it was actually 12. I was wrong about being wrong.
Well, that's that rapid education.
Oh, do not do that. Do not do that.
Here's the dunk. Here's the dunk collar. This might have sealed the game, as that's what we were looking for.
Pass.
And he might have gotten fouled, but oh, look at that.
He screams at him on the way down there. It's a great replay we have caught there. But back to your previous statement, we will not talk about the illustrious.
Hey, you know, you were in the meadows for a long time. I didn't know if it affected your thinking once you were up there that long. You know.
I did come from the home of academic excellence first. Bruin alumni.
And that's what I was going to say. This is the home of academic excellence. And Mr. Saunders has started something. That motto been very effective here. Is the Bethel Bruins not only doing it in the classroom, but on the court today, up by 14. And they're going to seal it. They're going to get this win to improve to 12-5 on the season. And they're going to sweep the Crabbers this year for the first time in a long time. It's been a long time since they've beaten the Crabbers twice in the season. I remember they won 3 times in the season 3 years ago when they had Dickens and Baycoat, but they beat them in the playoffs for that 3rd win. But in the regular season, they split. Call a 5-second call on Banks. The key in this game for me is Lassiter's threes to kind of push that lead.
You almost can't even say Lassiter without saying Banks.
Well, yeah, Banks, of course. Banks and Lassiter are just the two newcomers.
On top
yeah.
of the cake.
That's a three from the freshman Jenkins, and he gets the roll. Jalen Jenkins, the freshman.
As the clock will tick down here, and the Bethel Bruins will come away with the astounding victory and a three-pointer at the buzzer that will count. As you hear the crowds.
The Bethel fans telling the Crabbers to go back to Crabberland.
Now to be a wrap here from us. This is Kyler Thompson and Wu Baker Bray from Bethel High School, Allen Iverson Gymnasium, LSC Channel 48.
See you next time.